Powered by Riverside FM.
The Minnesota Vikings last night with their 24th pick. Everybody was kind of speculating what the Minnesota Vikings were going to do with that 24th pick, and now we have got our answers. They stayed put, and they chose Donovan Jackson from The Ohio State University. I've heard various opinions about whether or not it was a good pick. Let me tell you right now up front, Kwesi adofo-mensah did a great job last night. Kwesi adofo-mensah, with this pick last night, has made the Minnesota Vikings a better team. And the only reason why most people aren't too high on the pick for the Minnesota Vikings has to be because they haven't seen this young man play. So I'm just going to err on the side of people just kind of being unfamiliar with Donovan Jackson. Donovan Jackson, I'm very familiar with. You guys all know I'm a big Ohio State guy. I watch all of their football games every Saturday. Haven't missed one in about 30 years. And so I'm very familiar with Donovan Jackson. And let me take you through the thought process of Kwesi adofo-mensah because I think it's important. When you look at that 24th pick and you look at comparable athletes that play the position, obviously Tyler Booker was rated higher. Tyler Booker's a hell of a player, hell of a guard, former Alabama Crimson Tide. Gray Zabel, obviously graded higher from North Dakota State. And just because Donovan Jackson didn't rate as high as those guys doesn't mean that he's ranked third out of the three. It doesn't mean that he's an inferior talent out of the three. I think the one question mark about Gray Zabel is that he hasn't faced the competition. And really, you don't even have to put Tyler Booker or Gray Zabel up there because they were not available at 24. So when the 24th pick came, let me take you on a journey of what is going through Kwesi adofo-mensah's mind, UP Nation. I put out a podcast a couple of days ago about whose knee do you have more concern about? Remember that? UP Nation. Do you have more concern about Christian Darrisaw? Do you have more concern about J.J. McCarthy? We even put a poll out on the community tab. Who are you most concerned about? Most people were more concerned about Christian Darrisaw's knee. So if we're concerned about Christian Darrisaw's knee compared to J.J. McCarthy's, what do you think Kwesi and the boys feel about Christian Darrisaw's knee? We don't know, probably not. But we don't know that Christian Darrisaw is even going to be ready to play by the start of the season. Like, he may not be ready to go, guys. Donovan Jackson is a big boy. 6'4", 320. Played left guard for The Ohio State University. But when their left tackle got hurt, they asked him to step in and play some left tackle. And he did it well. Only gave up one pressure last year, 0 sacks. Donut. After changing to a position that he has never played. What do you think Kwesi's thinking about that? What do you think Kwesi and KOC is thinking about that versatility? Especially when they've got Brandell in the fold and you're not sure about Christian Darrisaw. If Christian Darrisaw is healthy, then we have a battle at the left guard spot, and I think Donovan Jackson is going to win. Now you have a huge offensive line. With one pick at 24, UP Nation, Kwesi adofo-mensah, along with his offseason work, has given us one of the best offensive lines in the league. On paper, the best offensive line in the league, but we've got to see that in a physical form. That being that way on paper doesn't cut it in the NFL. So we've got to see it in the physical form. But UP Nation, you've got to agree that offensive line is fixed. There'll be no more talk about we need to fix our offensive line. There'll be no more patchwork with the Minnesota Vikings in terms of bringing in a Dalton Reisner type player to fill in on that offensive line. The offensive line is completely fixed. How well has it been fixed? We'll find out in the 2025 season. But Kwesi cleaned his plate last night. Didn't play with his food. Didn't leave anything to throw away. Wasn't wasteful. He finished his meal last night by drafting Donovan Jackson. I think it was a home run pick. What would you have rather for him to do when you're faced with a pick that instantly makes your team better? And believe me, guys, Donovan Jackson makes us better. He completes the puzzle for our offensive line. Who else were you going to draft at that moment? Cornerbacks take a little bit to acclimate themselves to the NFL. I know everybody wanted to corner from Michigan. He's got knee problems. So you're going to draft that? Then people talked about the safety from Georgia. What are you going to do? You're going to draft that? Is that guy going to make us better next year, make an immediate impact next year when we just signed Theo Jackson and we got Harry the Hitman back there? How many reps do you think he's going to get back there? Do you draft another defensive lineman? Yeah, you could, but you can get that in the later rounds because it's a deep defensive lineman draft. And no matter who you draft at defensive line, they're not going to play with the Hargrave signing, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to sign a running back. You fixed that problem with Jordan Mason. And I understand the want to trade back to accumulate more picks, but if you have somebody in front of you that instantly makes your team better, man, you got to draft them, and that's what Kwesi did. Donovan Jackson, UP Nation, makes the Minnesota Timberwolves better right now. Right now, today. Number one, because of his versatility, and I believe that's why Kwesi went all in on him. Just in case Christian Darrisaw is not ready. See, people forget about that. Maybe we can play Cam Robinson is gone. He's gone. So you have to have a plan B for that left tackle spot if need be. And Donovan Jackson is a kid who has shown that he acclimates very well and quickly. Now, we don't know how that's going to transition to the NFL, but you can understand what Kwesi was thinking last night. If Christian Darrisaw comes back and he's ready to go early in the season, then that's just a cherry on top of the sundae. Now we have the Minnesota Moving Company up front. I thought it was a great pick by Kwesi. I know it's easy to get caught up in the emotions of all the skill positions and stuff like that, but man, this was a home run last night. And I'll say this, I could be a little biased because you guys know I love my Ohio State Buckeyes. But even if I step outside of that, man, it's a great pick. We couldn't get Gray Zabel. We couldn't get Tyler Booker. And nothing else that we would have chosen would have instantly made our team available where we picked and who was available. So we got our guy. We got the right guy. UP Nation, Minnesota Viking fans, you are going to be happy with the pick when this young man gets on the field. We finally have an offensive line. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, UP Nation, we will see you when we see you. Skol.